Hi everyone, welcome back to Be Rich. Lo and behold, surprise, surprise, I have Anand with me. Anand was in the studio and I pulled him in to have a conversation about some interesting stocks and interesting mutual funds and why they're doing what they're doing. Before I get into that conversation, the team has been struggling with the YouTube algorithm. They've requested me to ask you to like, comment, share, subscribe, turn on bell notification icons, press all those buttons down there and do what you must to support the team. The team is rather panicking that the algorithm has not been kind to them for the last few weeks, so they're requesting for support. Not only this, but all our sister channels, including our main Tamil channel, MoneyPechu. So if you could do that for us, the team would be very grateful. So Anand, before we jump into the conversation, how have you been doing? It's been a long time since we had you here on Be Rich.
Very busy. That's why I have not come here. But I
Yes.
thought you are doing a good job on it.
Well, I am grateful and we are thankful that you have joined us today. What I wanted to ask you about, they say the market is going to be, as in the short term at least, there's going to be a rally for short covering or something, and it might go up to 23. And based on that, lots of these mutual funds houses recently have been buying and selling various shares. So as we investors, we are, especially new ones, we may get swayed by this. So I wanted you to shed some light on these companies. And do you think they are valuable companies, one? And two, is it a time to be looking at these companies since we have been going through a correction? First one, SBI mutual fund seems to be buying HDFC Bank. What's your take on HDFC?
HDFC Bank is at this point very expensive.
Hmm.
This is India's largest private sector bank and has a huge market capitalization. However, since the bank merged with its parent HDFC, it has had a deposit problem. There's a credit to deposit ratio is more than 100. Ideally, it should be 80-85. So, because their deposits are not there, they are constrained to curb their lending. They also had information technology related problems. So, which also forced RBI to act against them for some time. So, the bank is in a process of consolidation and needs to set several things right. It has a subsidiary called HDB Financials, which is an NBFC, which has to be listed very quickly.
Okay.
They tried to do a deal with Sumitomo Corporation of Japan, where they would come in as an anchor investor, and the valuation didn't work out. So there's a possibility that you could, if you are highly cautious, then you want to take a very safe bank and you are willing to spend next 3-4 years without much returns, you can look at it. But next 3-4 years will be bad, and there is a decent chance that the price will correct from here. And if you are willing to wait for 4 years, it's better. I would rather buy something like Karnataka Bank or a South Indian Bank or an IndusInd Bank, which gives me more value at this point of time.
Okay. What's your views, and will your views on Kotak Mahindra also be around the same?
Kotak Mahindra has not moved anywhere for a long time. Again, a very safe bank and lending to people who would normally not be lent to. But now has cut back on lending and more interested in collecting money cheap. So they are working on CASA. And they lost one of their top talents to run Federal Bank. He wanted to run Kotak Mahindra. He didn't get the top job, so he's gone to Federal
Bank. Yes. Okay. Another one which SBI mutual funds has been buying into is Bajaj Finance. What's your take on that?
Too costly.
Too costly. Okay. ICICI Prudential mutual funds, they're looking at L&T, Larsen and Toubro.
Larsen and Toubro is also very expensive. L&T is owner of several companies.
Correct.
So you have to look at it as a valuation of parts. You also could look at it as a standalone company doing infrastructure. By all means, very expensive at this point of time for me.
Okay. TCS?
Very expensive, and IT growth options are not very promising growth because simply their size is too much, and also low-level coding jobs across the world will go into AI.
Then ICICI seems to be picking up SBI Bank. What do you think about that?
I've never touched public sector banks.
I know, but this is very curious because even next time getting HDFC mutual funds, they're looking at Power Grid.
Power Grid is a government company. I won't take it.
Then they're looking at TCS, which you already said is expensive.
Yeah, that is. But see, there's a difference between we retail investors investing and they investing.
What is their strategy then? If it's so expensive,
they want to be defensive. See, they don't want to protect the downside.
Okay.
See, what they are doing, all the strategy is they are protecting the downside.
Okay.
There will not be a big fall in these stocks.
Okay.
So they're not looking at the upside.
Okay, they're more worried about losing the bottom than getting top.
Exactly. So they're looking at protecting their value rather than
Hmm.
going out on
Okay, but then
gains.
if you look at the flip of it, what SBI mutual fund has been selling, though they've been buying those, they've been selling interglobal aviation.
Because that is a company which is going to lose market share.
Okay.
Indigo.
So they're going to see, they feel they'll see more correction there.
It will no, because I'll tell you what is going to happen is Indigo has not made a big dent into the international market yet. Air India is doing very well in the international market. Of the two.
Okay.
Not as much as Emirates or Etihad or Lufthansa, but of the two Indian companies, it's doing well internationally. And they claim, Air India is claiming, that on the trunk routes, main commercial routes, Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, Bombay, they have got a bigger market share than Indigo.
Yeah, because there seems to be suddenly, because of this, like what Air India came out saying, in social media at least, there seems to be a heavy campaign trying to pull their brand down.
No, that has been going on for some
time. Yes.
This is inspired by competition.
Correct. Looks very coordinated, that whole effort of trying to pull their brand down.
Yeah. And but at the end of the day, these are companies. This is a company with deep pockets.
Okay.
They have the Tata brand name and the deep pockets, and they have booked in something like 500, 600 planes. So they will
over a period of
time, they will take business away from Indigo. Indigo has a near dominant space today.
Correct.
Indigo will lose market share over a period of time.
Okay.
I think it is now 70-30 domestically.
Yes.
It would become 60-40 or 55-45. Right? Still Indigo may have 55.
Okay.
But the pricing power that Indigo has, there are several sectors today, like Madras Trichy, Madras Madurai, where Indigo has a near monopoly.
Yes.
Madras Bangalore. There are not so many Air India flights.
No, there isn't.
So they have a near monopoly pricing power. And an airline industry is all about pricing power. So they feel that Indigo may lose out.
But Air India also, of course, has the advantage of international routes.
And Air India is a private company.
Correct. And next one which they seem to be selling is Voltas. Voltas was always expensive, right?
Very expensive.
So what is the downside for Voltas in this kind of a market?
Because it can correct big. Because the valuations were very high. It can correct big. But the flip side for Voltas is that next 90 days, 100 days, air conditioning is going to do extremely well.
Yeah, summer is terrible.
And so Voltas can do well in sales in the next 3 months.
Okay, summertime sales.
So there will be a big jump in seasonal revenue in this quarter.
This coming quarter is going to be a good quarter for any air conditioning, especially Voltas. Any refrigeration company.
But they must be selling because the valuations are extremely high. And it's a mid-cap company and it can get hit very hard.
So, do you think they sell also because they need to show some profitability to their mutual fund houses?
I do not know whether they need to show profitability. But I look at it as Indigo is that there's a possibility of it correcting. Voltas, I have no idea. But why they are buying those 3 companies which you said, all the 3 mutual funds, is because they want to be defensively poised.
Okay.
But our position is different. You want your defenses in gold and your defenses in bonds. So for you to really go, you want to make outsized returns. So to make outsized returns, you need to buy what is not in favor.
Correct. But they're also selling companies like ITC. I do not understand them.
I do not know. I have no idea. But
you would not see any logic in selling ITC at this current price.
No, I don't.
At these valuations.
Maybe they are booking profits.
How about something like Torrent Pharmaceuticals, Sun Pharmaceuticals? There seem to be Aditya Birla Finance is selling those. Mutual fund is selling.
It depends on the individual. I won't sell Torrent. I won't sell Sun Pharma because the rupee is overvalued by 10%. Sooner or later, valuations will catch up with the rupees.
Correct.
When the valuations catch up, so for the same product amount of sale, they are going to get higher bucks.
Yes, but considering where Trump is right now and the tariff war he's decided to launch, do you think the dollar will be weakening?
The dollar will not weaken because for the dollar to weaken, US has to cut interest rates. I don't think US will cut interest rates today. And when dollar weakens, it's not a question of whether you will strengthen. Because the Chinese currency will also decline. So you can already see this. If you look at the February trade data, your export is at a multi-year low. I think 3-year or 5-year low. Your export is at a multi-year low. And because oil prices have crashed, your imports are also at a low. So your exports are falling, and IT exports are not doing well. It clearly shows that the rupee is too overvalued.
Well, there's a theory floating out in the social media sphere that Trump is actually so smart that he's actually, because no, just hear me out. I know you have a different opinion on this. That since he's not able to convince the Fed into lowering interest rates, which he's been hawking for since the time he was campaigning, he's forcing the Fed's hand by forcing a mild recession where the Fed will be forced to act and cut interest rates. What do you think about that theory, though?
Economics is not a science. You cannot set the temperature and all that to the exact point. What will happen is if he tries something like that, it will go much further down than what he thinks, because it's about what people feel. So he cannot control that.
Yeah, but no, the logic why he's doing it supposedly is because the debt burden on the US government is so high, he wants to lower the interest rate so the debt burden interest payment comes down.
It's beggar thy neighbor. If the US dollar comes down, all others will allow their currency to fall.
So this whole notion of worrying about the the debt and payment on interest, them trying to lower the interest cost, because there seems to be having an approach of reducing their federal expenses by firing everybody.
No.
Then they want to lower the interest
payment. The federal expenses are not going down. Expenses are going up. He is not able to control expenses by firing 2 people or 3 people or 2-3% of staff. You don't control federal expenses. So federal expenses is nowhere going down. He is jumping from one place to another. No, it does not know, not knowing what he is doing. Things will get a lot worse before it can get better.
So there's going to be more uncertainty being stoked.
Exactly. We do not know whether the dollar will weaken immediately or weaken 6 months from now.
Correct. So those of you who have been reading that the Nifty might have a short recovery up to 23.
Quite possible.
Quite possible, yes.
But any big rise will be sold into by people.
Correct. And that is being shown by the data which I've been sharing with you in our group, where the FIIs, even yesterday when the DIIs bought 6,000 crores, the FIIs sold 4,000 crores, saying, like Anand says, thank you very much. If you want to pay me, I'm ready to take it. So keep that in mind. Whatever recovery you see, it's all temporal, because the overall uncertainty in the market has not changed, and this will continue to go on till there's far more clarity, which seems much further away than we anticipate now.
Thank you for supporting Vinod, that you share this content with your friends and relatives and have them take a look. Kindly subscribe to this channel and like this video if you liked our content. Once again, thank you for supporting Vinod.
Thank you.